All right, let's solve some systems by the substitution method. And just a reminder that the word substitute means to replace. So if I wasn't in class one day and I had a substitute, they would be put in my place, replacing me. So let's keep that in mind as we move through this. All right, a substitution problem is usually fairly obvious because one of the equations is set equal to a value already, meaning this is just flat out already solved for y. So if I have y equals 5, I know I can substitute 5 in for y, because y is 5. So I'm going to take this 5, and I'm going to plug it in right there, because y is 5. So now I have 5 equals x minus 1. I add 1 to both sides, and I get x equals 6. Well, what did I have before? Don't forget I had y equals 5 to start with. So I've got y equals 5. And if you'd like, you can write it as a coordinate 6, 5. So if you were to graph those two lines, it would cross at the coordinate 6, 5. It's also stating that that coordinate is the only coordinate that works for both equations. All right, let's try to tackle another one. All right, in this case, we're not given y equals a number, but we are given y equals something. And what I like to do is just simply highlight what y is. Y is this, and I like to draw an arrow going into where I'm going to put it. Because that's what y is, I'm putting it in for y. And just be really careful. You need to make sure that if there is a negative in front of the y, you put your parentheses anytime you're going to substitute in for y, because we're going to have to distribute that negative. All right, so let me just kind of highlight what we've done here. This 3x plus 8 went in right here. And so you can see that I have the same exact equation written, negative x minus y equals 4, negative x minus y equals 4, but instead of saying a y here, I'm putting in this value because that is the same thing as y. All right, let's go ahead and solve this. I'm going to distribute that. So I have a negative x minus 3x and then minus 8 equals 4. Notice how I did both distributed properties. A minus x and a minus 3x, that combines to be a negative 4x. And then I'm just going to, so that became minus 4x, I'm going to drop down the minus 8 equals 4. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. That disappears. I can drop down my negative 4x equals 12. Divide by negative 4. And I get x equals negative 3. Now you might be tempted to say, oh, I'm done, because that was a little bit of work, but you need to solve for both x and y. Thankfully, though, we already have an equation for y equals 3x plus 8. So I highly recommend substituting that into the y equals. So I'm going to take my negative 3 and plug it in for x. So I get y equals 3 times negative 3 plus 8. This gives me y equals negative 9 plus 8, or y is equal to negative 1. Again, you can answer your problems with just that, or you can give me a coordinate of negative 3, negative 1. Both work. All right, let's go ahead and solve this one. If you want to pause the video, try it on your own and then see if you get the right answer. That's always a nice plan. I'm going to take this 3x plus 10, and I'm going to circle it. Oopsie. I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to put that in for the y. So what do I have now? I have 3x plus 4 but instead of writing the y here, I'm going to put that yellow, the 3x plus 10. And then don't forget to write the rest of my equation, which is equals -5. Let's do our distributive property. And we get 3x on the left, just dropping that down. But distributive property here gives me a 12x plus a 40. And that's -5. 3x plus 12x is a 15x. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 40 from both sides. I get a 15x equals -45. Divide by 15. And I get x equals -3. Again, I'm not done. I have to go back and solve for y, and I'm going to use this y equals. I already have it solved for y, so it's just a matter of plugging in my x value right here. So that'll be 3 times -3 plus 10. That is y equals -9 plus 10. That's y equals 1. So we've got x equals -3, y equals 1. That is -3 comma 1. All right, I hope you're getting the hang of this. I want to show you this problem because it looks a little bit different. Notice that we don't have y equals. If you like solving for y, you're certainly welcome to do that. And don't write this down yet, but I just want to show you that you could add y. You would get an x plus y equals 5. Subtract your x. And you would get y equals -x plus 5. And then you would take this and you would plug it in for y. So sometimes it's not solved for y and you have to. But did you notice something else? We don't actually have to do that method. In this case, we've been getting used to plugging in for y, but actually it says x equals. So in this case, we can substitute in for x. And that's totally fine. That works just as well, that I'm taking that 5 minus y and putting it in for x. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rewrite the top equation, and instead of saying x, I'm going to write this in yellow. So I'm going to have 5 minus y, and you could have parentheses if you want. It won't make a difference. Minus 2y equals 8. So I've written this top equation exactly as is, except instead of an x, I wrote this in yellow. All right. Well, what is a minus y minus a 2y? That is a minus 3y equals 8. All right, and then next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. That gives me a -3y equals 3. Divide by -3, and I get a y equals -1. All right, now I just need to solve for x, and I'm going to use this equation right here and write x equals 5 minus y. So that's x equals 5 minus, and then what's my y? Oh, it's a -1. So I get x equals 5 plus 1, x equals 6. There we go. I am going to do one more problem. You're absolutely welcome to kind of stay and watch me do this or try it and make sure it matches mine. But if you feel like you've got the hang of this, you're welcome to close the video and start your homework. All right, on this problem here, I'm given y equals. I'm going to highlight that like I've been doing. And we're going to take that 3x minus 9 and we are going to plug it in for y. So rewriting this bottom equation here, I get a -x plus a 3. Now I'm going to write my parentheses of a 3x minus 9, and that's going to be equal to -11. So let's go ahead and do this. We got -x dropping down plus 9x minus 27 equals -11. I got the -27 from doing 3 times -9. All right. What's a negative x and a 9x? Well, that is an 8x minus 27 equals negative 11. I'm going to add 27 to both sides. That disappears, dropping down the 8x. And now negative 11 plus 27, that gives me 16. Divide by 8, and I get my x equals 2, right? 16 divided by 8 is 2. Final step here is to go back into my first equation, y equals 3x minus 9, and I'm going to put my x of 2 right there. So that's going to give me y equals 3 times 2 minus 9. That gives me y equals 6 minus 9. That's y equals negative 3. And that's all I need to do for my answer. If you'd like, you can write it as 2 comma negative 3. That's it for substitution. Good luck on your homework, and we'll chat soon. Bye now.